Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to the Groundhog Day Hop, which means we have been scraplifting ourselves over the course of the last 3 or 4 Groundhog Days. So this is the first layout I did, and then the following year I scraplifted the prior layout that you just saw to create this one. And then last year, this is the version that I created. I just rotated it and kept going. And this year I'm going to rotate it again. I am also using some products from some Assemblage Required. I will be using some wood veneer pieces, mushrooms, because I am documenting mushrooms on this path that we took in Alaska when my husband and I were hiking. And then I am also going to be using the distress tool from some Assemblage Required, as well as that die that you see in the upper right hand corner. I don't believe the die is available any longer. I believe it was in one of the monthly boxes. She does still have a few monthly boxes over in her shop, but not the month that this one came in. So I think she has 3 and they're deeply discounted right now. So if you are interested in getting one of the monthly boxes, which has tons of awesome stuff in it, you can get them for a great discount right now. She also does have her distress tool in stock last I checked, which was just not like today. So you'll see me pull that out here in just a few moments. I am working on my Alaska cruise photos. These are more photos from the hike that my husband and I did in Juneau. These were hiking back from Mendenhall Glacier and the waterfall, I believe it's called Nugget Falls. And I don't see these kinds of mushrooms very often in California. It's a little bit more of a drier climate where I'm at. You'd have to go up to the redwood forest to really see these, or if we're having a really wet winter, you might see them in your yard, but it's not very often. And so I definitely documented those because I had this awesome wood veneer that I wanted to use as well. And I wanted to just capture the beauty of the nature. So I really like the mushrooms being in the foreground, and then that green foliage and the kind of gray blue sky in the background. It was very foggy that day and overcast, so it's got a bit of a blue sheen to it, but it's mostly cloud, and I just thought it was really beautiful. And I really love the mist and the dew and the fog. So those are all things that, I don't know, they make me happy. So I would probably be an awesome candidate for living in the Pacific Northwest, because I'm not somebody who really loves the heat, but I do love all of this other beautiful moisture and dampness. Now, I don't know if I'd like it to rain all the time, but the mist is great. So anyway, I am documenting that. I pulled out these pieces of packaging and some pieces of paper. There's like a wood grain paper there. It's just a leftover offcut from another project that I did using similar photos because these happen to be in the same box of goodies that I have been using for my Alaska photos. So I'm thinking that's where that wood grain came from, although I don't know the actual brand that it is. So I apologize for that. But I do use the 49 and Market Nature Study packaging, and then I am using quite a few other things from Nature Study. Most of the layering pieces in the bottom right hand corner are from Nature Study, as well as the little ephemera pieces. I thought I might use these wax seals. These are from the advent calendar that MK did for this year's Christmas season, but they don't make it on the page. I felt like they were a little bit too yellowy green, and so I opted not to use them. I will save them for something else. They will get used, and they are beautiful, and so I definitely want to get them used. It's just, they just didn't work for this layout. So I also thought I might use that rub-on that has the big mushroom in it, but I don't end up using it. I end up using this darker brown piece, and I'm going to cut it up and use it in varying pieces or varying places on this layout. I went with the craft background to keep it very neutral. It does have a white grid on it. This is a paper that was in a kit, like a workshop kit from Close to My Heart, which is no longer around. So I don't know that you could get this paper at all, but you could easily get a piece of craft paper and get a similar effect. And then I am using the bingo card and that diagonal stripe. I really love the diagonal stripe. I think it's really cool. It's got kind of a bold pattern. And that's something that I just love in the 49 and Market paper lines where they add those diagonals. So I am going to use this chipboard piece that says details. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to place it. This is where I'm going to do my journaling, down in this corner. Now in the original original pages that I made, there is a journaling area to the side of the 4 photos. So the 4 photos are oriented to the right side and the journaling is on the left, upper left, and they're side by side, and then there's some detail work down in the lower left-hand corner. But I am going to omit that journaling area and I'm just going to bring it down to do more of a diagonal. And my main reason for that is because I have so many layers. It's not like a simple journaling spot. If I had just put a piece of maybe ledger paper sticking out from the side of my photo cluster, it would have worked fine. But because this is more like an embellishment cluster with a journaling spot, I felt like if I added a journaling spot to the right of the photos, it would just be overpowering and way too much on my page. And it would not really give your eye a very good place to rest. So I just omitted that and brought the 2 pieces together. The things that were in the original lower left and upper left corners, I brought them together, and because my layout is completely reversed, they are in the bottom right. Hopefully that all made sense. So now I'm going to go add my, I thought I was going to add my rub-ons here. I think I'm just trying to figure out some placement. I was trying to figure out if I needed to go around the bottom corner of the bottom left-hand side of my lower cluster there. But I end up bringing in that little set of leaves instead, and that kind of covers that corner area. So I didn't feel like it looked naked without some mixed media in that little bottom area. And then I am going to use some rub-ons on either side of my photos as well. I probably could have made my photo cluster a little bit, like 1/4 of an inch more towards the right than the left, because by the time I get this cluster built on the very left-hand edge, it's very close to the left-hand edge of the paper. So I could have moved everything over, but by the time I had it all done, yeah, it was stuck in place and there was no way I was going to be able to move it. So I just am going to roll with it, and I like the way that it ends up looking. It's not a big deal, but I couldn't really add a whole lot more to that left-hand edge because I was ending up right up against the edge of the paper. So I'm just using my tweezers actually instead of the rub-on tool that they give you in the rub-on pack, and that's just because I'm being lazy. The rub-on tool is laying on my desk somewhere. You'll see me pick it up at some point or get it out at some point and use it to apply some of the other rub-ons, but at this point my tweezers are just doing that job for me. And to be honest with you, the 49 and Market rub-ons go on so easily, it's not a big deal. Most of them you can put on just by rubbing your finger over it, especially if they're brand new. Now these ones are definitely not brand new. I've had these in my stash for well over a year. They're still going strong. They still go on really easily, and I don't think it's a big problem. I really like the way that they add a little bit of texture to the background paper, since it is just a flat piece of craft paper. I mean, it does have that grid on it, but it's not got a lot of design. So this is adding a little bit to it, and I think that looks nice. I do love the wood veneer pieces. They do have a masking over the top, so you do need to peel that masking off. You might have seen me doing that a minute ago. I apologize, my dog's making a bit of noise, so ignore that. So I do use 3 of the mushrooms. That bottom mushroom cluster is made up of 2 different mushrooms. I know it looks like 1 because of the way I have placed them, but it is actually 2. And then from that die set, I'm just using a couple of these little kind of curly foliage pieces. I'm not using a lot from it. And to be honest with you, I really like the die set, but I struggled with getting it apart. And that is mostly because I'm afraid to squeeze really hard on my little snips and have the pieces go flying. I really should just take it to my husband and have him do it, because it's really just me being more fearful and a little bit hesitant to really go at it. Most of them, once you get at least a portion of it cut, you can just bend it back and forth and they pop right off. But getting it started was proving to be a little bit more difficult for me. Like I said, just all me, my own problem. I did just use some white paper and the green that was left over in my green blending brush. I don't know what color it is, but I just used that on some white paper and then ran that through my Sidekick. It created these cute little curls that I am going to have poking out of my little clusters, and it just adds another layer of dimension and another layer of eye candy, as it were. I think it looks really cool and kind of finishes everything off. Now, you could definitely do this layout without, so if you don't have this die set, that's okay. It's not a big deal, and you can add whatever kind of foliage you want. So I do really like the way that this comes out. When Groundhog Day Hop first came around, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, so I wanted to pick something that I knew would translate over time, and I feel like this one really did, and I'm liking the way that it all ended up looking. So this is a hop. There's a link to a playlist down below where you can go and check out everyone else playing along with the hop and give them a little bit of love. They are all using layouts that they did, so they're not going to be the same as mine. And you can see the progression of what they did, hopefully, in their videos. I did add a little bit of white media gloss to my layout, and I went around the outside edge with a white double sketchy line just to complete it and finish it all off. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you guys again real soon with another one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.